What's up, guys? Welcome back to TheSlamDuncan YouTube channel. This video is just going to be about me making my predictions for the 2021 NBA season. As you can see right here on the screen, I'm going to be going over my standing predictions for the East and West, and then I'm going to go over my award predictions for this year. And I think those are going to be really interesting to watch. But I want to first start off with the Western Conference, go to Eastern Conference, and then we'll get to the awards. But before we get into that, though, make sure you hit that like button. Also, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. Also, leave in the comment section down below, who do you think is going to win the 2021 NBA championship this year? But let's start with the Western Conference, though. I'm going to show you kind of just, team by team here. But to start off the Western Conference, I do think the Denver Nuggets are going to be the 1 seed. And the reason why I really think this is because they have that advantage, being so up high in altitude that they're going to get wins, especially with teams that have not played in 9 months. So they're going to get some easy wins. And in a shortened season, that's definitely going to help them. So I don't think the Denver Nuggets are going to be the best team in the West, but I do think they're going to get the 1 seed due to their home court advantage. Number 2, I think it's going to be the Clippers. I do think the Clippers are going to come out and they're going to play hard every single game this year. I don't expect Kawhi to take as many games off, but I also do expect the rest of the guys to be playing as hard as they can, and so they're going to get the 2 seed. I do think the Lakers are going to kind of start out a little bit slower this year, especially what we saw in preseason, that, you see LeBron and AD kind of taking it slow, so you're going to kind of see them just take their time getting into things. And also with so many new acquisitions, it's going to take them a little bit of time to get it all together. But I do think, though, that they're still the favorites to win the West right now. Then I think the Dallas Mavericks are going to be the 4 seed. I actually do think that if Porzingis started out the year healthy and was here, that they'd be higher. But because Porzingis is going to at least miss a month, probably a little bit more, he's going to be the 4 seed. Number 5, I have the Utah Jazz. They re-signed Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. Biggest thing to me, though, is that they brought Jordan Clarkson back, and I don't know when he signed the extension, though, which is probably there in the middle of the season. But they have a pretty decent bench now with Derek Favors coming back. It's a matter of if Mike Conley can, become Mike Conley again, at least just be that solid starter, which he was a couple years ago, and what we saw in the bubble. But either way, though, the Utah Jazz are going to be a playoff team. And obviously, I think that if they're playing where they should be, they are going to be the 5 seed. Number 6, Chris Paul to the Phoenix Suns is probably one of the biggest things in the offseason. And I do think that this Phoenix Suns team is going to finally hit the playoffs in such a long time. Devin Booker should obviously, there is no All-Star game this year, but he is going to be by far one of the best shooting guards in the league. And having Chris Paul there to be the leader to keep the young guys intact, that's going to push the Suns finally to the playoff spot and even not have to worry about a play-in tournament situation, which we're going to get into here. Number 7, at the Portland Trailblazers. I do think in the regular season that they're going to be able to get the 7 seed, and they're also going to win the play-in tournaments. Damian Lillard's too good to lose those play-in tournaments. So I don't expect the Portland Trailblazers to lose in the play-in tournament. And number 8, I have the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry is enough to get you to the playoffs, plus some of the acquisitions that they've made. I do think Wiggins is probably going to be better than what people expect this year, but I don't expect all-star Wiggins. He's going to be a solid guy. Kelly Oubre coming in is huge for the Warriors, but obviously missing Klay Thompson, they're not a championship caliber team. And I also think that they're going to get the 8 seed, but they're also not going to lose in the play-in tournaments, as I do think that, the Pelicans, the Grizzlies, and all the other teams just don't have enough to win in the play-in tournaments. But here's the thing about the Western Conference. What you see right here is just me kind of factoring in a bunch of things in the season, but we do not know what the standings are going to be. This could completely be flipped upside down at the end of the day. And that's just because the Western Conference is so stacked that people have to, we can't really know where teams are going to land. And I won't be surprised if, let's say, the 6th seed from the Western Conference somehow wins the West. That's how good the Western Conference is. And it's good to see parity in the NBA because I don't know who's going to win the championship this year. And I don't know who's coming out of the West. So playoffs are going to be really exciting. The end of the season is going to be really exciting to see who's going to get, which seed, who's going to get home court advantage, etc. So I am extremely excited to watch the Western Conference, and that is obviously the better conference. I didn't even, I don't have Zion, I don't have Ja. The Spurs, I don't think have enough. The Houston Rockets, I'm kind of thinking that James Harden is actually going to not either play or he's going to get traded. And because of that, I don't have them in the playoffs right now. I don't think they have enough. So that's my Western Conference, as you can see right here. Now moving on to the Eastern Conference, where things are kind of more clear to people. But to start off, I think the Boston Celtics are going to be the best team in the Eastern Conference. Tristan Thompson is a very underrated signing for the Boston Celtics. They struggled with rebounding and rim protection, with Daniel Tice only at 6'8" at the center. You bring in Tristan Thompson, whose sole purpose is to rebound and also provide some rim protection. That's exactly what they needed. And yes, losing Gordon Hayward does, hurt them a bit, but having Marcus Smart be a guy who can either start or come off the bench is just huge for them. And I do think Tatum is going to take another step in being more of a leader. I think Jaylen Brown now is going to obviously get more touches. And even if Kemba Walker kind of declines just a little bit, the other guys are going to bring this team up. And I think overall, just because they have the most shot making, they're going to be the top of the East. Number 2, I have Milwaukee Bucks. Now, I do think that the Bucks are not going to be going as hard in the regular season. Now, it's kind of weird, though, because Budenholzer doesn't really play his guys that many minutes. Giannis averaged under 30 minutes per game last season. But you can tell that they're always playing at 110%. Because of that, I don't think they're going to do that. Because of what we saw in the playoffs, I don't think they're going to be doing that in the regular season, because I just think that they're going to be pushing too hard and burning themselves out if they go at 110% in the regular season. So I expect them to kind of go back a little bit. Number 3 are the Brooklyn Nets. Now, people are already, worried about the Brooklyn Nets just in terms of, health and how that could affect. But from what I saw from the preseason games, Kevin Durant looks great. And not only Kevin Durant, but Kyrie Irving also looks good. And Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie, those two guys can at least carry the team to the playoffs with that roster. I think, Kyrie and Kevin Durant, they're going to miss some games, but they're going to still be such a solid team that they're going to get to the 3 seed, especially in the weaker Eastern Conference. Number 4, the Miami Heat. I do think that Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic, I don't know exactly how they're going to be, in the regular season, but come then in playoffs, we obviously know what they're going to be. And everyone's such a big fan of Tyler Hero, Heat fans, but I don't expect him to become the all-star that Heat fans are expecting Tyler Hero to become this season. He may become an all-star later on, but not this season. Not this season at all. But that team is solid with Bam Adebayo always being there, that they're going to be the 4th seed. Number 5 is Philly. Now, I kind of just put Philly in the middle here because I really do not know what they're going to be. I think they have a chance of being the 1 seed if they play properly under Doc Rivers, but I also think that they could probably fall as low as a 7 seed. So I'm just going to kind of put them splat in the middle right now because I just don't know where Philly's going to land, but I do think at 5 it's just kind of a normal base level for them. Now, I do think, though, that they could definitely give whoever the 4th seed is a pretty good run for their money in the first round of the playoffs, and potentially even the semifinals in the Eastern Conference. So, definitely, I think the top 6 teams of the East, it's they all have a chance of coming out of the East eventually, even if they're the 6th seed. But as I talk about the top 6, the last team in the top 6 is the Toronto Raptors. I do think last year, even though that they were the 2 seed without Kawhi Leonard, but I really do think that Pascal Siakam has, officially understood, now I know how it feels to be the number 1 guy. But as he's getting better, I do see Kyle Lowry getting worse. And you lost Marc Gasol, which might have been a good thing, but Aaron Baines as the center man, I don't know how that's going to really work out. But I do think Van Fleet's going to step up, Pascal Siakam's going to step up, OG Anunoby just got paid, but I don't think that they're going to be better than these teams up here. They're probably going to, who knows, but they're probably going to give a good run in the playoffs, and they can definitely get to the second round of the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to beat these teams up here in the top 5. Number 7 is the Indiana Pacers. They're just an overall solid team. If Malcolm Brogdon can stay healthy, they could definitely go up higher, but I have him at number 7 because I don't trust his health. Sabonis and Turner, I'm still just questioning how those two are going to work out, so there's that. Oladipo, again, I don't think he's going to be all-star level this season, but he's going to be solid. And number 8 of the Washington Wizards, Bradley Beal showed me that him just himself on this Washington Wizards team, which had no defense whatsoever, but a pretty solid offense, can at least be on the bubble of a playoff team. You add Russell Westbrook now, that backcourt is definitely for sure going to be, in my opinion, a playoff team. whether it's going to be through the play-in tournament or just straight up being as the 8 seed and winning all the games in the play-in tournament. I do think that the Atlanta Hawks are not going to make it because they're just so young. But they're definitely, I think the Hawks are going to be in the play-in tournament. I just don't know what seed. And also for all you Bulls fans out there, I do think the Bulls will make the play-in tournament as the 10 seed, but obviously lose because they're also a very young team. So that's my standings for the Eastern Conference. I do think though the East, like, it's obviously not as good as the West, but you can definitely flip around all these teams. It is kind of hard to figure out which team's going to get which seed, but you do know who the contenders are in the East at least. So I think the top 5 are definitely the best contenders in the East, and then the Raptors are just a tier below. So that's my Eastern Conference standings, and then last but not least is the awards. I'm trying to get through this really quickly here, but for awards here, I have Luka Doncic as my MVP. Now, listen to me on this. Like, people have already, talked about all kinds of other people for MVP. Luka is a favorite here, but I remember MVP is always about the storyline and what the media says. But with Porzingis being out for at least a month and then maybe a little bit more, and then having Luka be averaging around a triple double, around 30 points per game, and a top 4 seed in the West, even when Porzingis comes back. Like, to me, that just sounds like, oh, he's going to get the MVP award. Because the storyline is going to be he had Porzingis out for a good amount of time, and he still got to be a top 4 seed in the West. Or maybe at least top 6. He'll still get it if he has a really good winning record. And just because of that, and of his numbers and his greatness, he's going to get the MVP in my opinion. Because remember, it's all about the media. The media tells the storyline, that's how the MVP award is given out. All right, Rookie of the Year, LaMelo Ball, and I don't really like this at all. The only reason why I say LaMelo Ball is because I think the media is going to give it to LaMelo Ball. And here's the thing, the media is just doing too much already with LaMelo. He's kind of struggled with the shot in the preseason, but all I see is highlights of his passes, which, don't get me wrong, they're great passes, but Cole Anthony, when the Hornets and the Magic went at each other, Cole Anthony had a much better game, and I did not see many highlights of Cole Anthony. So, I personally think if I take away the media, if I would choose a Rookie of the Year or predict a Rookie of the Year, it would be James Wiseman. I think that him having that NBA-ready body is going to give him a great advantage. His numbers are going to look pretty good on a Warriors team with Steph Curry and a bunch of other solid players, but I think the media is going to give it to LaMelo Ball, even if he doesn't average that many points, doesn't even average that many assists, and doesn't shoot very well. He's still probably just going to get it because it's LaMelo Ball. But I could be wrong. I don't think LaMelo's going to have that great of a season, especially in a Charlotte Hornets system, but I could be wrong about that. I just do think the media is just going to give it to him, unfortunately. I do think James Wiseman will have a better rookie season. Sixth man of the year, I have Jordan Clarkson. This is if Jordan Clarkson comes off the bench, which I expect to happen in Utah. But with Montrezl Harrell going to the Lakers, he's not going to get that many touches. Dennis Schroeder is going to be a starter, it looks like, for the LA Lakers. And with the Clippers, with Lou Williams, I think Lou Williams is starting to kind of decline a little bit. He's probably going to get less minutes under Ty Lue. And they also brought in Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard is also a great scorer. And he's probably going to take points away from Lou Williams. And I think Serge Ibaka is also going to take points away from Lou Williams here. So, because of that, I do think Jordan Clarkson, because his only thing to do is score for the Utah Jazz, he's going to come in and average at least around 15 points per game, and that's going to give him the sixth man of the year. Most improved player of the year, I have Christian Wood. People do not understand how good Christian Wood is, and I don't think the Rockets are going to make the playoffs, but he is going to have a really good year, and because the media just doesn't give him enough love in the first place, it's going to benefit him for for the most improved player of the most improved player award, because the media doesn't know how good he is, and then once he starts playing pretty good, that's just going to help him. Therefore, he's going to probably win most improved player. And then defense player of the year, I have Giannis again. I know Rudy Gobert just signed that $205 million extension or whatever it was, which is an insane amount of money, but I do think Giannis is probably going to be playing a lot more center, which means he's probably going to get more blocks, which is a scary thing to even think about. And that is going to help him, and I hope he plays more minutes, because if he does, then it's only going to boost his defensive stats, which are already insane, and I think he's going to win it again this year. And Coach of the Year, I have Brad Stevens, and this is mostly just because I do think that people don't really know with Boston, like, where they're going to be. Like, I'm still questioning with Boston if they're even going to probably, where they're going to fall. But if Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum just improve, I think Brad Stevens has the easiest path to winning Coach of the Year. So those are my awards. Again, the most confident I feel about this is Luka winning MVP and then Giannis winning Defensive Player of the Year. And the other, awards, I think they're pretty much up for grabs. But the main thing that's up for grabs is definitely the seedings for the playoffs. Like, I do not know, especially in the Western Conference, what the standings are going to look like come the end of the season, especially in a shortened season, and games probably going to get canceled. There's going to be a lot more factors, no fans. You're going to see a lot of things kind of go all over the place and be unpredictable this season. So I won't be shocked if, these standings are, like, my predictions are nowhere close to what the standings eventually are at the end of the season. But that's all I have for you guys for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. Also, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. And again, comment down below who you think is going to win the 2021 NBA Finals this year. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.